Father God, as always, we're thankful for the blessings of this day and the privilege of living in this great county. And Father, your word tells us in Psalms 127:1 that unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build. And unless the Lord guards the gate, the watchman waketh but in vain. And Father, that tells me that if you're not in anything we do in this county, it's not going to be the right thing to do. So this morning, Lord, I just pray your wisdom over these commissioners as they make the decisions, as they consider each item, that they will consult with you to search their heart and see what you tell them needs to be done to benefit the taxpayers of this county. And we trust you, Lord. We know you love this county. You've kept us here for a long time, and we just trust you to get us through this meeting today. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jerry. Please join me with the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the justice flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one day, under God, one indivisible.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Roll call. Here.
Commissioner Cheney, Commissioner Casterline,
Here.
Commissioner Russo. Here. Commissioner Dupnick,
Here.
and Judge Gutsa.
Here. We've got a full quorum. We've got a full court and a quorum. At this time, we'll have citizens be heard. First up, Doreen Bronner. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing? Hi, for the record, my name is Doreen Bronner and I live at 42 Carroll Lane in Lamar. And I'm here today to advocate for a cost of living pay raises for our county employees. It's important for me to clarify that I'm speaking on behalf of the non-elected employees of Aransas County, and I do this voluntarily. And my full motivation for doing this is because statements last year regarding cost of living increases, and I believe that you guys need to hear some other perspectives on this matter. I'm out of order here, but anyway, governing, I know, is challenging and requires making a lot of difficult compromises. And I have been a former federal civil servant executive manager, so I'm very well acquainted with the difficulties you guys have in balancing budgets and justifying these pay raises. But despite these challenges, I firmly believe that our county employees are the backbone of this community and deserve a cost of living pay raise. The civil servants are often misunderstood, overworked, and underpaid. And this leads to high turnover rates in several positions. And according to a 2022 report by American City and County, 81% of local governments are hiring new employees, and they face workforce challenges that impact total employment. This trend is very evident in Aransas County, where salaries have led to difficulties in hiring and retaining well-qualified employees in various counties. The Rockport Chamber of Commerce highlights that Aransas County is the second largest employer behind the ISD, followed by Walmart and H-E-B. Depending on the data source and of course its accuracy, and I've checked several sites, the average salary needed to live comfortably in this county ranges from $58,000 to $62,000 a year. But from my research, the average county employee salary is just over $34,000, and that's 21% lower than the national average. By contrast, Rockport, Walmart, and H-E-B low salaries are $38,000 annually, and that's higher than the average county employee salary. Both of these organizations offer a bunch of benefits, and of course, H-E-B touts lower turnover rates. Civil servants are employed to serve the greater good of this county, not H-E-B or Walmart. They serve themselves. So our civil servants, they live here, they work here, and they play here. They're on the front lines of delivering vital services to residents, and they help build a stronger Aransas County. They have access to very personal information about our residents. They require certain skills and lots of discretion. I could tell you horror stories on things like that. People do not take county jobs to get rich. We need to retain these skills And these dedicated civil servants are crucial for the effective functioning of county offices. We need to pay a fair wage. And if unskilled labor starts at higher wages than what we do, what does this say about the county as an employer? I understand that the challenge lies in finding ways to cut costs without significantly increases taxes. That's always the issue. But I suggest that we need to get back to basics. The county administration should reassess the salary structure and consider additional benefits and incentives to retain employees. We need to determine which employees are already receiving a fair wage, and my research suggests there are a few in the county, and which ones are not. And as you know, already know, employee recognition programs, professional development opportunities, and a supportive work environment can significantly boost morale and reduce turnover rates. Additionally, evaluating which programs are not required by law and could be reduced or eliminated and manage our constituency expectation is a must. And yeah, I'm talking about something very unpopular, and that's defunding programs that are nice to have, but are not required by law. And I know that that is not popular, but we can't do it all with the money that we have. We need to invest in the well-being and the satisfaction of our civil servants. We can create a stable and productive workforce that benefits this entire community. And in conclusion, the unskilled labor market has varied and our county has persevered. The lowest starting salaries in these businesses are higher than the county average. And it's very perplexing to me that unskilled employees in Walmart and HEB can anticipate cost of living pay raises, but our dedicated civil servant
Time's up.
who selflessly serve us, the people of this county, cannot. This is puzzling to me. How about you? Thank you for your time and consideration. And I know I'm not the only one who feels like this.
Thank you, Doreen. All right, next up, Jeff Hutt.
Jeff Hutt, 2201 Prairie Road. Since I'm under 65 and not tax frozen, I'm not going to request any more money being spent. I am going to say that over the last 6 months, I've had the opportunity to work with more than dozens of courthouses all over the country. And I've often said this before, but one of the good things about being from Rockport and getting to do stuff outside of Rockport is that you get perspective about how things are here. And we have 4 ladies who work for our county, which is the county treasurer, the tax assessor collector, our district clerk, and our county clerk. And these people are by far some of the greatest treasures we have. And just the fact that I've gotten to go and seen how difficult other places are in these offices, and they flex some sort of authority or privilege or control for just the purpose of having been able to do it. But every interaction I've had with these 4 offices and these 4 ladies have been all professional, have been all helpful, and they've gone out of their way to be good public servants. And I think a lot of times that these are a lot of times the 4 positions that are overlooked. And I like to just say, I've been hit in the face with the fact that just how wonderful we are and how lucky we are. And I want to move past that. And I would say about a year and a half ago, when we came on, when Judge Garza, you came on, there was a lot of issues with the animal control, and there was a lot of changes. And you appointed Caitlin to be in control of animal control. And I think she has done a phenomenal job. I think we are so lucky to have her. And I just want to, I know I get up here a lot of times and say negative things, but I mean, just like I said, hit by perspective about how good we have it. I just want to express those good things too. So thank you.
Thank you. You got 3 more minutes. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, we're gonna move on to presentations and proclamations. Oh, I'm sorry, we have none. We're gonna move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda. I'll second that.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and pull number 4 to discuss that separately. And then, I'm sorry, the 2 minutes from May 28th and May 30th. I found some discrepancies, so I'm going to strike those and we'll vote on them on next meeting. So we were only, for the consent agenda, we're only considering item 3 and item 5, which, Caitlin, you want to read off the donations, please?
Good morning, everyone. So I'd like to acknowledge the Pet Fest cash donations in the amount of $672. Pet Fest various animal supplies in the estimate amount of $700. The Woson family from the lemonade stand in the amount of $100. Jeffrey Lafferty and cat food in the estimate amount of $16. Janice Roth and kitten toys in the estimate amount of $10. Lisa Ernest and animal items and donation packet items in the estimate amount of $150. Christy Powell and the various animal items of $40. Anonymous cash donation of $100. Carol Van Dyne donation of $100. And that's it for today.
All right. And in case the commissioners don't know, Pet Fest was a lunch we had here at the courthouse, and we had some raffles and stuff. It was pretty cool,
Yeah.
pretty well attended. We were able to raise a lot of money.
We are trying to see about trying to do this as like a community thing next time and have it kind of bigger and broadened and like a giant adoption thing. It's in the future, but trying.
Cool. Thank you. So if you have any questions, again, this is just for item 3 and 5 on the consent agenda.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick, and Judge Gutson.
Aye, passes 5-0. I have a motion for item number 4.
I move approving the appointment of Matthew Ocker to the Aransas County Appraisal District's Board of Directors for a term of 2 years.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. And we had a vacancy. JP Mosier resigned from the board. And so I had 3 interviews of people who applied the first time when it was announced. And I had Desiree in there with me, and we both chose Matt to fill this spot. His resume is attached. And Matt, if you would like to come up and introduce yourself. Put you on the spot.
Yeah, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I am Matt Oker. I reside at 208 Duck Haven. That's out off 188 in the Sunset Bay subdivision. I grew up here, actually. I lived here from 78 to 1990. My parents moved. We had a farm in Austwell, and we moved to Victoria. It was about the same drive and better opportunities for kids at that time. And just recently moved back, about 5 years ago with my wife. We built a home out there in Sunset Bay, and couldn't be happier. Love being back here, and I'm humbled to be presented with this opportunity to help serve my community. If y'all have any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer.
Any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutson.
Aye, passes 5-0. Move on to item number 6.
Move to approve resolution R 12/2024, resolution to select Management Advisory Corp. International Incorporated to provide consulting services to conduct a compensation study for Aransas County, authorizing the county judge to execute necessary documents, providing for severance and confirming compliance with the Open Meetings Act.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is the one that's gonna do the salary survey?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did we get an estimated cost or how are we being billed on this?
Yes, so item 6 is a resolution, and then item 8 is the actual awarding of the contract.
Okay,
It's in,
so wait till number 8,
yes, sir.
that'll work. Call
I
the
have-
question.
Unless, okay.
Commissioner Cheney, were you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. I served on that rating committee, and I did reference checks on my top 3, and this management advisory group was one of that. The other 2 that I did reference checks for, and I just picked randomly from the long list that was provided to each of us, tried to find something that was similar to our characteristic number of employees, close to a major metropolitan area, but a semi-rural background. And one of the reference checks that I did on management advisory group, I left a message, and when they called me back, they said, that wasn't the company who had done their salary survey. It was some other company called the Waters Group or that. I was like, okay. So then I picked another government entity out of the list and called them. And I was given this response that the job they did, the people in the HR were not very pleased with it. They were very vague in their job descriptions, and that overall the city was not pleased with the results. And that was FAR Texas. So I have a concern. I don't know. I know that Desiree also participated and Colin also bid. I visited with the judge about my concerns, and I think he talked to the treasurer about doing a review of the proposals also. And because our treasurer has been in office for so long, she has a wide network with treasurers in other communities. And can you give us any report?
Before that, I just want to clarify, this one is for the resolution. Do you want to possibly table this until number 8 and we can get into the
That would be fine.
contracts in it there then?
That's
And
very
then
fine.
return back to this maybe?
Okay.
I
I-
that would probably require a motion though.
I'll move that we table the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick, Judge Gottesman.
Aye. It's tabled. All right, item number 7.
I move to approve the request for variance on county minimum lot size requirements to replat 23, 24, and 25 of Charlotte Avenue from 3 lots into 2 lots.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning, Ms. Cat.
Good morning. This is our typical 3 lots into 2 lots going from less compliant to more compliant. The property owners have a lot in between a developed lot that that property owner would like half of, and the other undeveloped lot next to it would like to keep half of it. And so this would just be going from 3 lots to 2 lots on Charlotte Avenue in Lamar.
All right. Any questions? All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Gottesman.
Aye, passes 5-0. Okay, so item number 8, do we bring that off the table before this item or?
You can probably return to the resolution after 8 if you prefer. I just feel like the more substantive discussion should be in number 8.
Okay,
I don't think we can take it off the table in the same meeting, the previous one. Is that what you were suggesting, that after we did this one, we could go back to the previous one that we tabled and?
Yes, but hypothetically, you could approve the contract in number 8 and the resolution could return at a later meeting. Alternatively, you could disapprove and then the resolution would likely not return. So you have some choose your own adventure possibilities, but I think the merits and the discussion
all right,
are in 8, not in 6.
all right.
How about, may I move to table this? Would we still be able to have discussion after the motion and the second?
No.
All right, I move to disapprove awarding a contract for the compensation study to the highest scoring company, Management Advisory Group International, and authorize the county. That's just it.
I might suggest that instead of doing that, you move to discuss it. It gives you, to me, it reads like it gives us the option to discuss.
Okay. I move to discuss,
I'd ask, is that correct? Am I interpreting that correct?
Yes, sir.
and I'll amend my motion. I'll move to discuss awarding a contract for the compensation study to the highest scoring company, Management Advisory Group International.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
Okay,
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
so my comments that I made under number 6, I will not repeat. And I was just asking our treasurer, Emma Cartwright, if she would respond to if she was able to get any information back when she did reference checks.
So
Commissioner,
I did.
before we do that, I'll leave this up to the discretion of the court as well. Before we proceed to hearing from people who are outside of the scoring committee? Should we possibly hear from people who are on the scoring committee?
Well, it's a discussion, is it not?
It is, but I think technically you're asking someone who is not on the scoring committee to weigh in on the scoring. I just didn't know if you wanted to perhaps hear from other members of the scoring committee first and then our treasurer.
Does anybody on the scoring committee have any comments?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just want to point out from the client list, that doesn't necessarily mean that they had a compensation study done. Because MAG provides other services, like trainings, procedure manuals, reviewing job descriptions. It's just human resource projects. So they have several different services they provide, not just compensation studies. So if you call from the client list and asked specifically if they did a compensation study, the answer could be no, because they could have done something else for them. So I just want to point that out.
How many were on the committee? Three.
Yeah, so we had 5 proposals and there's 3 members on the review committee. We had scoring sheets that we provided to Eric when we finished our scoring and he tallied up. And the highest scoring was MAG, Management
How
Advisory
much
Group.
higher was it than the second?
I think 7 points higher than the second.
I'm sorry,
I think 7 points higher than the second.
7 out of 100.
out of 100?
No, so
Yes.
MAG
7 out
had
of
245 points and the second highest was 238.
Right,
Who was
100 points per person.
Who was the second?
Evergreen Solutions.
Okay, did we check into them? Had they done salary studies?
Yes, they have done salary studies as well.
What type of response did we get in checking into them?
Positive overall for both Evergreen and MAG. So,
Evergreen had done a salary study for the city of Aransas Pass. So I talked with one of the city council members and then with the woman who is the director of the finance department over there. And she gave a sterling reference.
Desiree, did you also do some background checking on the
I did.
first selection?
So on MAG, I called all 4 of the completed salary studies listed on, let me see, page 40, the recently completed projects. I called all 4. 3 answered and they had positive feedback and they all completed the salary study. The only issue they had was it was during COVID for 2 of them, and they said that the communication wasn't the best. But they understand that during COVID, some people didn't want to work or they just weren't available or working from home. And I also called one from the currently under contract, Wichita Falls, and they had overall good feedback as well. And this was for MAG.
And you still think that that's a good choice?
I still think it's a good choice. I mean, Colin also scored MAG the highest, and then Alma also scored it the highest. So 3 out of 4 choosing that as the highest, I think is a pretty good show of who we should choose. But I mean, it's up to discussion, so we'll see.
To be clear,
All of us not.
okay,
And one other thing to consider as well. Commissioner Russo had MAG as her 3rd highest score. And for the other 2 official scores, they had it ranked 1st.
Colin, did you do any background or vetting?
I did not do a background check on Management Advisory Group, but I did look at their methodology and the descriptions and how they appear to do the work. And I found that I liked the way they laid out their steps and the way that they would do their methods to actually complete the study. That was what impressed me the most on them, is the amount of data they gave me on how they actually perform their studies and what tasks they complete and the steps they did. The others seemed like they would kind of rush through and could try to do multiple things within one step. The only other one that seemed to have a in-depth study was the one that was the most expensive out there. And but this one seemed to have more steps broken out, which means that you can get more involved and more complete results than trying to rush through more components of the study in one phase. So they had it more broken out. So it seemed like it was a more methodical approach. That's what impressed me on this one. But I did not call the references on this particular group.
Can I ask you the difference in price of proposals?
Yes,
So MAG was 37,000.
Evergreen was 34.
Evergreen was 34.
And then,
Octagon was just under 49,000.
Oh, okay. Yes. So Octagon, 48,950, MAG, 37,000, Evergreen, 34,500. There was one that was 100,000 and then Gallagher was 59,200.
okay, typically, cost is a relevant factor.
Yeah.
If the lowest cost one was not the highest scored, do you, have any thoughts on that?
So
We don't
methodology,
have to choose the lowest scoring one. Excuse me, the lowest price one.
no.
And at this point, I sure would like for the treasurer to have an opportunity to speak, since I don't understand why neither the treasurer nor the auditor was on the scoring committee, because they're the ones who are most intimately involved outside of HR with payroll, job descriptions, and those things.
So I did score the management agency as the highest, not based on the cost of it, but more on their algorithms of how they do their job descriptions and come up with their analysis. I did do research on MAG was Jefferson County. They had not ever heard of that company and had never done a survey, but I do believe that maybe Pat mentioned that somebody else said they had never heard of them. I think that they may have been that water company before. In other words, I think they changed their name because they did have a big list of resources and two of them we found had never heard of them. So that could be the case. On the Evergreen, I did Denton County. It'd been, I think she said 10 or 12 years back when they did it. She was okay with the survey and the descriptions that they come back with. And then when, after they paid and the cost, which was 100 and something thousand back then, she took it to court. The court decided not to make any moves on the plan because they could not afford the raises that were instilled in the plan. So they actually spent all that money and did anything. On Segal, which is the one that came in at 100,000, Jackson County used them. There again about 10 years ago. And the same thing, she took it to court. They paid the cost. She took it to court. The court chose not to instill the plan because of the cost. And then they decided to pick and choose the ones that they wanted to give increases to. So that didn't work out well either.
We had a survey done here years ago and the same thing happened. Didn't, when it came to court, it didn't.
How long ago was that survey?
I think it was around 2008, wasn't it?
I think it was 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
And it costed about, I think, I'm thinking $50,000 to do it. And so the data for all of what counties make can be had if anybody within the county wants to do it. I don't know if you're going to get anywhere by people compiling this data for you or not. I don't have a lot of faith in it. That's something that we could probably do ourselves to analyze each position, each job description. I know it would take a lot. But the 37,000 that you spend can be used to increase the wages as opposed to having this firm that will probably give us the same report that they gave the county that they've already done. So they're not really going out and doing a lot of legwork to come up with numbers because it's all out there already. I don't know.
Because they already did the legwork, right?
Huh?
Because they already did the legwork.
Right.
They already have all the data. And our last salary study was in 2003.
Oh,
with Ray and Associates.
Right.
So 21 years ago.
Have we checked with the adjacent counties, like, I understand Pat had some pay issues, with Imperial County, B County, different counties?
I reached out to Victoria and they sent me their salary study. But their pay structure is very different than ours. And then I tried to reach out to Calhoun, which is Port Lavaca, and nobody got back to me. So.
Well, the reason I was asking about the adjacent counties, because with all the activity in our area, those counties are affected as well as, you know, we would be as far as the cost of living and different expenses employees have. Once you start getting, you know, out of this area, you're kind of getting out of the bubble where we're more affected than some of these other counties.
I think we need a salary study, but considering there's a couple of references that has never heard of this company, I don't think I could vote. Like, it's almost like a lie, but if it got bought out or something like that, I mean, that could happen. Can we table this till the next meeting and do more vetting and maybe call the company, ask them on those two references and see exactly what they did?
Yes, we can.
Great.
So I'll move to table. Item number 8, approving awarding the contract for the compensation study to the highest scoring company management advisory group.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Custom.
Aye. It's tabled. Item number 9.
I move to approve rejecting all responses for the design build services request for proposals that were opened on May 21st, 2024.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Warren.
Good
Mike.
morning. I was on that committee for the design build services RFQ. And we only received 3 submittals. And the feedback that I got from folks that otherwise would have bid on the RFQ was that design build is pretty atypical. For
Did you say atypical?
Atypical, yes, ma'am. And and in their opinion, in some of the opinions that I received from the folks that didn't submit, was that it wouldn't put the engineering team or the design team in a position to more or less protect the county's interests. So typically what you have with a big project is a design bid build. So you hire your design firm through the RFQ process, and then you bid for the RFP through the RFP for contractor. And in this case, in the design bid or design build, we would have been hiring one company to do the whole thing. And there's not a lot of companies that do that. So what we ended up with were partnerships from organizations, from engineering firms and contractors that maybe I won't say they were unnatural, but they put those partnerships together for the purpose of bidding on this RFQ. And I think that the more sound way to do it is the traditional design, bid, and build. And so all the committee members agreed that the project is viable. We need to go for it. We should move forward with it. And I think the commissioners, if you need me to rehash what this was for the DSIP grant. That grant's still viable. We're still going to apply for that grant, but we have some time on how we procure services to do the work. Yes, sir.
Just for the general public, tell them what DSIP means.
Defense Community Infrastructure Program. It's a Department of Defense grant that we're going after due to the Navy's impact on our airport. So that staff recommends that we reject all bids, and when it's right, we move forward with the RFQ process for a design bid build, the traditional process that would normally go through.
There was a comment made, I think, during some discussion at another time where basically to qualify for some federal grants, they have to be design bid bill and not design bill. Is that correct? Was I misunderstanding something?
I don't recall that. Is anybody else that was there?
I think FEMA.
During the FEMA process, that was one of the things that they did not approve or want.
So DSIP
That's a design. build.
necessarily wouldn't be a
Design
factor
build.
then?
The design build.
I've read some negative comments about design build, and I don't know if there's different variations like you're talking about, but I did a little research on it and there were some.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to.
Yeah, I would say you might need to dig a little deeper into the process itself.
Well, that's why I suggest that we move forward with design bid build where we hire the design team through the RFQ process and then we go through the bid for RFP for contract.
Is there supposedly a big cost savings in the design build versus the design bid build?
I can't speak to that.
Yeah,
I
my
think-
thought is we're building hangars. And there's a lot of people out there that.
That's
build-
part of it. Yes, sir. It's bigger
Yeah.
than just a hangar.
And I think if they've got good designs, they've got good people, we ought to step out and do that. Because there's not a lot of changes that you make in hangars.
Yeah, it's not just hangars. I want to be clear on that. There's other things involved here. There's terminal expansion. The hangar would also serve as a resiliency or recovery center, so it's going to be engineered.
But it's still a
to
hangar.
win. Yes, sir, it is. And then there's also fences and entry points. A solar farm is mentioned in the DSIP grant request. There are other things.
Mike, is this the one where we could bid or set out the projects that you wanted to do over the course of a couple of years? Is that?
No, that's
The
the BIL.
Okay.
I'll discuss that next.
Okay.
And what's our time frame on this?
We have until, I think DSIP opens again in August. It's closed or it's closing in a week. We weren't going to be able to get our submittal in time for this year, fiscal year 24. So we're shooting for fiscal year 25, which opens in August.
Okay.
And we don't have to submit in August. It'll stay open till June of 25.
Okay.
I think you're making a good decision. We don't want some hybrid organization to be doing this and we're their first try.
I'd like to have more than 3 bids, to be honest
Yes.
with you.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
You're still moving forward and trying to get a letter of endorsement for the DSIP from the Navy?
Yes, sir. That's a component, but that's forthcoming.
Okay.
This is just about the bid
Right.
for the RFQ.
So I was just gonna mention, yeah, there's some negative aspects of design build, but there's some negative aspects to bid build too.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all. Any other?
Commissioner Cheney,
And we're voting on disapproving, right?
Correct.
Okay. Aye.
Rejecting all up.
Reject.
We approve rejecting.
We're
Commis-
approving, rejecting the bids
Okay.
that we received.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutson.
Aye, 5-0. Item number 10.
I move to approve allowing the airport manager with the assistance of the county attorney's office to begin the process of creating disadvantaged business or enterprise goals for Aransas County, a necessary step in qualifying the airport for United States Department of Transportation bipartisan infrastructure law grant funding.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
All right, and so with DBE, disadvantaged business or enterprise, this is a requirement for US DOT grant funding normally, under normal conditions, and every single time that I can think of, I can't think of another time where we have had to go after DOT funding, US DOT funding on our own. Normally, TxDOT runs, because Texas is a block grant state with respect to FAA grants, which those are from the DOT. TxDOT normally administers those grants for us. In the case of BIL, TxDOT will not be administering the grant. Therefore, for Aransas County to qualify, for the airport to qualify, we must have the same DBE goals or a set of DBE goals, just like TxDOT does. Because TxDOT's not going to be involved in this.
Is this the same as the HUD historically underutilized?
It's- I think they're all alike. DBE is very specific in that we have goals that we have to create with a committee. There has to be a liaison to the court. Adela, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, let me jump in. Commissioner, it's not the same. But it is related, might be the best answer. With DBE goals, to get federal funding, it is going to be a very big project. I asked Mike to come speak to the Commissioners Court today on this because I'm sure we would appreciate your buy-in from the start. It'll be a lot of time, it'll be a lot of manpower, but the requirements of these particular goals require committee participation from outside businesses that work in Aransas County. And so we have to have public hearings on the matter, so like a workshop. And we need to get buy-in and support. We have to provide data of what our county already uses and what we would like to increase in the future. But right now, if it's federal Department of Transportation controlling the funds, that's a lot for the airport to miss out on grants if we don't have DBE goals in place in the future. They're set for 3 years at a time. We can copy and paste from some places and hopefully we can do some of that, because I think the deadline for the next year is August 1st. But it's gonna require a lot of buy-in from community members as well and people who serve our community. I think even if we ultimately don't meet the deadline, it's still something that's really good to have in place, because Department of Transportation funds
That's
can
the
also apply.
future- That's the future of grants.
It is, and it can also apply to road and bridge down the line. So that could be 2 big departments that could receive a lot of funding if we can do the legwork.
Does this become part of county policy?
Yes, in that you would adopt it. So that's part of the public hearing process. You would be with us every step of the way as we go and as we set things. And so we would certainly welcome the Commissioners Court voices to be added to that. But it is something that this county would have to at least stand behind for 3 years at a time. So you're very much adopting it.
Mike, I want to thank you for looking into this and finding out about the difference, because this money, as you say, comes directly from the federal government instead of moving through TxDOT, so that we would be in compliance and then able to get this funding and future funding. So thanks very much for your work on
Yes,
behalf.
ma'am.
Call the question.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gus.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 11.
I move to approve an engagement agreement between Aransas County and Earl and Associates PC for that firm to serve as special counsel, providing legal services on an as-needed basis, and if approved, authorize county judge to execute that agreement.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. So I'm bringing this to the court. I know that the county attorney's office is pretty slammed, and just to be totally transparent, our former assistant county attorney, Jen Osteen, works for Earl and Associates. She left with her a lot of knowledge on a lot of stuff we have. So this is so if I need any, if I need to talk to her about any legal issues, she's available. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I just want to make it clear that this is not my request nor my recommendation. And Judge Garza is obviously free to make this decision if he so wishes in his request. And since my name was brought up, just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you.
Yes, it was all me.
Commissioners, if I may, I just, because a letter of engagement is a contract, and I should give you a legal opinion on the contract you're about to enter into, I just want to provide some things for your consideration. First, the legislature's already said there's a time when the Commissioners Court needs to hire outside counsel. And they've put that in the law. But they've also stipulated the reasons that you should hire outside counsel, and what you should be able to articulate. At the very top of that list is you need to be able to articulate the need for outside counsel and why your current fleet of attorneys that are already full-time employees of the county cannot meet that need. So when Ms. Osteen was employed here, Aransas County hired outside counsel, for example, for the RPA lawsuit. But the commissioners court at that time was able to articulate to the taxpayers and to the state, if required, why we needed a specialist in governmental entity defense. Ms. Osteen could not meet the demands of that, not for expertise or ability, but like we have 3 attorneys working on the RPA case and their entire office staff. So we did not have the resources to dedicate, and that was an articulable reason for hiring outside counsel. There's also a start and end date. We started at the time we were in the lawsuit, and it will be over one day soon, hopefully. But that's something else that you can articulate. Right now, the letter of engagement as written is a little bit of a blank check because it doesn't tell us what current lawsuits or pending lawsuits Ms. Osteen will be working on. It doesn't put a cap on the start and end date or how much can be billed. The minimum billing requirement, according to the contract, is 3/10 of an hour. So that means that if judge picks up the phone, has a conversation for 2 minutes, the smallest billed increment will be 18 minutes. And at $350 an hour, that's the smallest billed increment is $105. So that would possibly be a problem when cost comes down the road, because the legislature says that when outside counsel bills a county, they have to say and identify all of their billing and why it was necessary. So without being more specific, like we would in other lawsuits that say, if Lloyd Gosling calls us, it's because it's about the RPA lawsuit. This one does not articulate which lawsuit. So that could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be problematic in the future. I would also say that right now, the way the contract is written is solely for the judge. And it does not require this firm to coordinate their services with the county attorney's office. If you look at RPA's or Lloyd Gosling's contract, it requires them to coordinate their services with the county attorney's office. And every time they are present in a meeting, I'm present, Amanda's present, or we're both present. That is not required of this current contract here. So if hypothetically judge were the only one receiving counsel, and according to this contract is not required to share it with the rest of you, I believe that there's a real concern for whether or not this court could accidentally waive its governmental immunity.
Are you saying that no other counties do outside counsel?
No, ma'am.
Right.
They absolutely
Could you
do.
answer me also? And I appreciate the information you've given us. But Ms. Osteen is very familiar with a number of issues that this court has dealt with in the past and is currently dealing with, and will probably be dealing with into hopefully the near future, not the long-term future, but we'll see. And she has a great number of years of experience in this community and in county government.
Correct.
I question, have you the experience to match that?
Thank you, boss.
Ms. Russo, that is highly
Commissioner
inappropriate.
Russo, thank you.
Commissioner Russo. You will not speak to my employee that way. Yes, Ms. Osteen.
It was not an inappropriate.
Yes, it
question.
was.
No, ma'am, it was not an
Ms.
inappropriate
Osteen
question.
is no longer a county employee. If she is simply pointing out the issues with the contract, which are appropriate issues to discuss with you. If Judge Garza chooses to enter the contract, he could waive his immunity. And that is not a contract with you. You will not be receiving any benefit. You cannot speak with Ms. Osteen under that contract. You will not be benefiting. Isn't that something that you would like to be a beneficiary of if you are entering this contract?
Currently, the judge speaks to the county attorney's office and employees thereof many times without my knowledge of what he's talking about.
Yes.
But he shares the information with us when we come to court.
Yes, but if you act on information that he receives from an attorney that is not from my office or in a contract that I am a party of, then you will not be receiving immunity if you act on that information.
Would
And you can be personally sued.
Would you repeat that, the whole sentence?
If you act on information from an attorney that does not work for my office or one of the outside counsels that we have a contract with, that I am a party of that contract, you can be personally sued and you will not have immunity. I have been trying to express this to you for months. I am trying to protect you. You understand I'm not the one that's getting personally sued in this situation.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that there was a lot of conflict in this.
There's no conflict. I'm trying to explain to you how to best protect yourself.
Let me finish if I may. You're the county attorney.
Yes.
You're voted for by the people of Aransas County. Okay, we have faced the problems that we've had with the contractors and stuff from Harvey. We have faced the annexation issue that the county was very successful in. And just the general cleaning up of things that are going on around us. And I think your office has been very good at that. And I think your office has always been very good at saying and coming to the court and saying, we need outside counsel on this. So I don't really see what we need to change. I know David Earl. David Earl's a great guy and he's a wonderful attorney.
He is, and we brought him in on that
Yeah,
lawsuit.
And if it's something that your office doesn't have time to handle or your office is not capable of handling, because just because you're an attorney doesn't mean you know everything. But
Absolutely.
you know what's going on in the county. So I'm not in favor of.
And just so the court knows, Jennifer Osteen has already been brought in on our RPA lawsuit under a contract through that law firm. So we have already consulted with her through the law firm that we have contracted with.
Yeah,
So we
my
don't
question-
need to contract with her on that lawsuit because she's already been brought in under the firm that we are contracted with.
My question is there any issue between this current commissioner's court and judge and the current county attorney and staff that would require at this particular point in time, naming another outside counsel? I can't think of anything.
If we had another lawsuit,
The commissioner's court is not represented by the county attorney. They
No.
are
and
outside
and
counsel.
I'm not saying you can't. I am trying to tell you very plainly the issues if you do so. And the issues with this specific contract is also that it's only for the benefit of Judge Garza. And it's not for the benefit of all of you. And how that can affect all of you, especially if you don't know, like you said, because sometimes Judge Garza talks to our office and relays information. If you don't even know which source you're getting that information from, you could even inadvertently be getting information from an outside counsel and you don't know it, and you don't know it.
So is entering into this contract, am I breaking the law?
No,
Okay.
you're not. You're not breaking the law. By entering the contract, you would not be breaking the law.
Okay.
By entering the contract, you're not breaking the law. What we are simply trying to say is, here's a good example. We have a $23 million contract for the courthouse. It has since gone up from 23 million ballpark. If in the future we were to be sued on that particular contract, and right now I'm assigned to the commissioner's court. If I were to advise the commissioner court one way, if we were to enter this one, this new contract, and Ms. Osteen were to advise the judge a different way, if you act on that counsel, because this is not for the commissioner's court as written. If you were to act on that counsel from Ms. Osteen, you could now be personally liable, not Aransas County, but you as a person for part of that $23 million if we ever got sued on that. So that's your house. That's probably not your house because it's a homestead. I'm sorry. Those are your personal belongings. Those are your vehicles. That's your RV. That's any second property. That's what makes you personally liable. Typically, everything is united as a commissioner's court so that we're all protected, because our first plan of attack is to say, nope, we got governmental immunity. Okay? But you're breaking that possibility of preserving your governmental immunity by entering into this contract. And we would like to protect you. We are here to advise you. We cannot control your vote. We are not attempting to overstep our boundaries, but we are, if someone were ever to come back and sue us and sue you personally, if you came to us and say, why didn't you tell me? I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So we're telling you now, and these are for your consideration. But right now you enjoy a lot of protection as a unified court. Entering into this contract would waive that unified protection.
It'd be on me.
And if
No,
you,
sir.
and if you relayed any of that information to anyone else and they acted on it, then it would be on them.
All
So
right.
just to be clear, it doesn't just lay on you. So even if it was inadvertent and friendly, it could expand beyond just yourself.
All right. Thank you.
The issue of
Oh.
expertise, though, is what keeps our bar cards and keeps nearly every attorney in the state behaving within the rules of ethics, is that we have a requirement that says you can practice any kind of law you want in this state. But you are required by law and according to the Texas Lawyers Creed to come up to speed as fast as humanly possible. Sometimes those are controlled by the law. If you're appointed on a CPS case, you have 7 days to come to speed with the Texas Family Code, which is 1,000 pages long. But regardless of expertise, every attorney here, even if it weren't me, could swap in and fill this because we all studied constitutional law and how to run governments in law school. But we're all of our bar cards are on the line if we don't bring ourselves up to speed in a professional manner.
And I know we frequently tell you things that you don't want to hear, but it's not our job to tell you what you want to hear. It's our job to tell you what we're supposed to tell you. And Adela and I tell you a lot of things that you don't want to hear, but we are giving you what you need to hear, even though it doesn't affect me. And I keep telling you this for your own protection. I'm not the one that's going to get sued. I'm not the one that's going to lose my job. I'm telling you this for your protection. So take it or leave it.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
it said within budget. What account is that coming from?
Professional services or
Non-departmental.
non-departmental?
Non-departmental.
Right.
So we have, there's
Very fun. Yeah. All right, let's go and vote.
Commissioner Cheney,
What's the question right now?
It is to approve this entering into this agreement.
Nay.
Commissioner Casterline,
I'll say nay right now.
All right.
Commissioner Russo,
Nay.
Commissioner Dupnick,
nay.
and Judge Goslin.
Aye. Fails 1-4. Item number 12.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign necessary documents to commence monitoring of the fire and alarm systems at the new courthouse. And monitoring services will be provided by Everon, formerly ADT Commercial, in order to comply with relevant building codes. Cost is estimated at $221.18 per
I'll
month.
second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Colin.
So part of this monitoring is so that we can meet the goal of getting our temporary occupancy certificate. We have to have an agreement in place to monitor the fire alarms and other life safety systems in the new courthouse. This is an agreement that is separate from our contract to build the building. This is something that we personally enter into. So we don't know if the cost is going to change because there are pending change orders and directives that may affect whether certain fire alarm components, sprinklers and things like that. But as it stands right now with all current systems that are in there, this is the estimated monthly or the current monthly rate. But we won't know until the building is fully finished and all changes have ceased to fire alarms and other such life safety systems.
And there are really two agreements here, right?
There
One
are
is for
two
the
agreements.
fire alarm, that was like $141.
Correct,
And then intrusion monitoring, that was like 50.
correct.
And the difference I'm estimating is tax or service fees. I mean,
the-
because it comes to 191 and this comes to 221. So there's
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah, I may have done some, because originally, when I did the math and then Tracy verified it, we must have been looking at different numbers then. So,
Okay.
I'll have to double check that again. Because Tracy and I came to the same number. I'm not sure which numbers we were looking at then.
numbers from the original contract. Yeah, I was just looking at the ones that were on here as the proposal and sales agreement. At the numbers on there. I mean, it's a small difference because it says around 220. And Renee, you're involved in this somewhat with the fire alarm and the intrusion monitoring. So you all are on the same page with these services? Thank you.
And I'll verify the math too, because
Okay.
now question. But that is roughly the correct number. For this building, it is under ADT as well.
What was the question again, Sheriff? I didn't hear you. Oh, okay.
And I will further clarify, under this building, while it is ADT, they are subcontracted through TKO out of Portland, but it is the same monitoring, ultimately the same monitoring company.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
All right, passes 5-0. Item number 13.
I move to approve the annual county clerk archive plan as required by local government code section 118.011.
Second.
Got a motion and we have a second.
There have been a few changes since I put this together last Monday and sent it to Tracy. I've talked to CoFile, who is doing our large restoring, remediating mold, imaging, indexing, that process. As of July 1st, they are not going to be storing those documents for us for free anymore. It is at this count right now, and this is continually growing, by the way, is 16 4x4 pallets that are stacked about 5 foot high. That's about 1,280, I think off the top of my head, cubic square feet. For them to store it for us is going to be $5,000 a month. The contract for that would be for 6 months, which is $30,000. It would give us the option to have a month-to-month basis, until which time, one, that we are in the courthouse, and two, that the county clerk's office meets minimum standards to store permanent and historical records. At this time, how it is, that office does not meet those standards. There is discussion. There is some progress on that thought process, but we have no answers on how to get the county clerk's office to meet minimum standards. So it could conceivably easily be that 6 months through December. While it is a high cost, I presented y'all a document, spreadsheet. The cons is the cost. And if we move the records multiple times, Number one, wherever we move them must meet the minimum standards. So that limits where we can go with them. My fear is if we move them multiple times, that we will not have a secure count of what's coming and going and could possibly lose records. The other part of that is with CoFile's contract, we have free shipping right now, which is not going to be a small amount for them to bring them back to us, at which time we can put them in my office. They will also bring a staff to shelve all of those records. There are around 2,000.
I'm sorry, you said they will also bring what?
They will bring all of those down here free of shipping, and they will also shelve all of those records for us. It's right currently what is done is right at 2,000 books. Those books weigh between 20 and 40 pounds each. It is not a small task to shelve those books physically. And then my fear is if we move these, they are not going to do that for us. So who is? Are you going to ask my staff to do it? And remember, we're going, the bottom row of those, where those books are going is 7.5 feet high. And we'll be climbing up and down ladders to shelve those books. I'm worried about the physicality of doing that if we don't take this contract. So that's
So it's
that.
$5,000 a month now?
Mhm.
I mean, going forward.
Starting July 1st.
What is it now?
They have not been charging us. We are about a year and a half beyond what we expected to move those records into the courthouse. They have not charged us at all for this. My representative, his name's John Rickerby with CoFile. When he got the first estimate, it was going to be $8,000 a month. He did his magic to get it down to $5,000 a month. This company is not in the business of storing records. But because of our situation with the courthouse, it's a need we have, and they're making concessions for us to do so.
Just to be clear, you have been looking for some alternatives.
I'm looking at the Texas State Library and Records Archives Commission. They do have storage. My goal is to not have these pallets taken apart, shelved, and then taken back down and brought back to us that way due to the fear of losing records.
Other counties in the area?
I have called 3 other counties. I called 4. Refugio, Victoria, San Pat, and Nueces, and none of them have room to store this amount of records at all. Victoria is in the middle of building a new building, but it's not going to be ready for several more months. So that's not an option. If their building were completed, we could put part of them there, but it scares me to separate these records.
I don't think transporting them around is.
I don't think it's a good idea, honestly. I am looking at the State Law Library, and I've also contacted FilePro in Corpus Christi. FilePro is much cheaper, but they have not been able to answer the minimum standards requirements yet. I'm waiting on that information.
I did have maybe a question or concern in the document that you gave us. You talk about the project began with procurement of a new user-friendly cloud-based records management software. And this software continues to be customized, and existing digital records are being converted into the new system. Imaging and indexing of old records should be in process. Was this part of the reason that we had a disconnect in some of the account fees? And there was like an issue when the auditor's office came in and was tracking. Was it because of this new software system?
It was during the 17 days. It actually wasn't when I was here. It was
I was just asking. Okay.
Yeah. So, and there were 17 days when that system switched over. There was a fee that got missed, and as soon as it was found, we fixed it.
But it also says images will be processed using OCR to support full text searches. Images will also be cleaned up and grouped into documents. Are we duplicating work that's already been done?
No, we are not. Remember, CoFile is only doing 1871 to 1951. Right. We have 1951 to 1991 is what my staff is working on.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
This is a 6-month contract. Would it be prorated if we ended up,
It would not.
okay.
But honestly, I can't imagine, I mean, we don't know when we're getting in the courthouse. We don't even have a plan yet to fix
Your issue over
the
there?
issues.
I hope 6 months is long enough.
Okay.
The good thing is with this contract for 6 months, we are granted a month to month at that same amount.
Okay.
Any further questions?
Commissioner Cheney,
Okay, again, what are we voting on now? To accept the archive plan or to
To
approve?
to accept the archive plan. I will be coming back next on the 24th. Once I have all the information from all of our options that I can find
For the cost
for
center?
storage, correct? I
Okay.
just wanted you to be aware that it has to do with my archive.
Okay, aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 14.
I move to approve the change order number 2 for construction contract for Holiday Beach and the county's general land office community development block grant. Contract number 20-065-098-C270 to LCR Total Transport LCC. This change order increases the contract time by 23 days. This additional time extends the construction contract end date to August 2nd, 2024.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
Any additional money?
Nope.
No.
So why do we need the extension?
We gave them a change order,
Changes.
order number 1. They did get some more time for that, but now they're asking for additional time. It still works into the time that we need to work done.
In your opinion, is their request for 23 days reasonable?
Yes.
Any other questions? All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. On item number 15, there should be a correction at the end of the motion. It currently says August 26th, but it should reflect August 16th.
16th or 15th?
16th.
I move to approve the DLF TX change order number 5 for additional HHS support beams for canopies and additional beam for interior partition. The community building is a portion of the Aransas County Community Building / Plaza / parking lot. General Land Office Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Contract number 20-065-098-C270, adding $34,507.76 and 20 days. The new project's substantial completion date will be August 16, 2024.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a
Morning.
second. Morning.
So I looked up what HSS was, hollow structural sections. And I'm just curious why additional support is needed if it was a design issue.
It was a design issue. The beams that were actually put in were a little too far. The beams that were already put into the wall were a little bit too far for the canopies. So rather than replacing them, they just added some additional beams. It'll make the building stronger. And then the one for the partition, it did not go back into the closet. So that's why there's an additional beam for the
Okay,
closet.
if they installed the beams too far apart, why is that our cost? 34,000.
Well, at the end, I guess suppose you could go back and speak with the
With the designer,
architects.
they put it where the drawings were, but
Right, so DLF put them where on the drawings that they were supposed to be. But then when they went to go hook up, when they started looking at the canopy, they noticed that they were in the wrong spot. And so they went back to the architects and the architects redrew and sent in a new submittal.
And I think we have other design issues that we'll address towards the end of the project.
Correct.
This is what we get with design build, right? Or bid build. We're responsible for everything.
Well, just because this will become a public record, I would object that we're responsible for paying whether or not you approve the change order. I just want to maintain that objection on the record. I do agree with you, Commissioner, that if it is a design problem and PGAL knows about it, they should probably be the party that's paying for it.
Yeah, you know,
Mhm.
it seems like, everything that we've been going through in all this time, 30,000 a year, 50,000 there, 5,000 a year. They either didn't build it according to design or the design was wrong. Now, we didn't build the building and we didn't design the building, but we have to pay for the building, but we paid for designers and builders to do it correctly. And I, for one, am getting really sick and tired of us having to come up and pay for stuff that should have been done either in the design of it or in the building of it. There was an error somewhere that Judge Garza and none of the commissioners court made the decision to do that. And I know that that puts you in a really bad spot, but if I wanted a house built out of bricks and they build it out of straw, that's one thing. But if I tell them they want to build a house and they just go out there and build something, then that may be on me. But this isn't on me. This is on the designer or the builder. And unless I'm looking at this with a John Desai,
Right, I think in the end, there will be another conversation, but for us to keep moving forward with this building, we have to go ahead and do the change order.
We're planning on going back to the designer to do it. But
Okay.
we're at a spot now. I mean, what do you want to do? You want to stop until they
No.
agree to do it, or you want?
No, I want to go ahead. I want to go ahead and get it done, but
Right, all architects have errors in admission.
well, I bet they do.
Hypothetically, you could ask that this be a change order and then you're not accepting the bill, but you are approving the work.
Change directive.
Yes, a change directive. If you wanted to send this back to the architect and the builder, you could have them put it into a change directive instead of being a change order, because your signature is an agreement to the cost. Whereas on a change directive, your signature is for the agreement to get the work done.
How much will that delay the process, Elle?
Well, let me add this. We're not sure that a change directive would be allowed through the GLO grant. We would have to verify that before you could take it as a directive.
That's right.
The directives are approved by the contract.
Would you
So-
repeat that?
Change directives is a mechanism that's in the contract with the architect and with the construction company.
Does that put us in any better negotiating position at the end of the project?
What I would tell you, again, is that every signature on a change order is a sign of your agreement. Because that's what signatures are. But in this particular case for, when you agree, you're also agreeing that, the amount proposed is reasonable and that we should pay it. That's what a change order is. And sometimes change orders, they exist because there's a good reason for them. So I'm not here to tell you good reason, not good reason. I agree that we need to move forward. I'm just telling you there's a mechanism for you to go back and not accept financial responsibility.
Jackie's comment was concerning the GLO because they're the ones paying for it. It's
Right.
grant
Right.
funded.
Yes, it is. Oh,
Yes,
well, oh,
there is a GL,
we do have the GLO, don't you?
the change order, yes.
Okay. But as far as GLO's grant, contract, we're not positive that they would accept a change directive instead of a change order. We would have to verify that before you would be able to change it to that, or they wouldn't accept it.
Right.
Are they standing still waiting to do this right now as far as trying to
Right,
complete the building?
Yes, because we can't put up the canopies without it. And also the partition can't be ordered and the partition is 28 weeks for fabrication. So the building will be completed and then they will come back and they will be able to put in the partition that goes between the two sides. But they can't get the measurements for the partition until that center beam is up.
That beam is in.
All right. any
So
other
again,
questions?
it's,
Let's go and vote.
Commissioner Cheney,
Just to get it done, aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Scottson.
Aye, passes 5-0.
you.
Item number 16.
I move to approve authorizing county judge to terminate the tax SIRA services agreement, including but not limited to providing 30 days written notice as required per the contract terms, and to sign any necessary documents regarding contract termination.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Who's got this? Colin.
So as y'all know, the ARPA committee, we went out and attempted to use Taxera for the new website for the county. After several months of going back and forth and attempting to overcome certain technical limitations, we were unable to successfully overcome the technical limitations that put a halt to the project. Some of the, I can't fully discuss some of these limitations in open court, but we could entertain them in a closed session later on. But it's not on the agenda for this court for us to talk about network design and other types of components. There were
Any-
technical limitations that.
Any questions?
TAC doesn't have the capacity to do what they were, what our
The
contract called for.
subcontractor that TAC uses for websites could not have, and this is discussions with both the owner of the company and multiple technical resources within that company, and several back and forth months before the designer even had really started on their design of the new website.
Have we put any money up on this yet?
We did the initial payment to them, which started their work. We have a current invoice that has been being held for them to continue hosting that work.
How much is that?
I think it's 4,200, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's 4,200 for the second payment.
So have they really done anything for the money that we paid on them that we, what we owe them?
For the initial payment that we've done, yes. For the current hosting, in accordance with the contract, we either have to notify them or pay the bill. Now, whether or not they will waive the current bill because they haven't done anything more for us is up to them.
But
Additionally, on that one, I've reviewed their contract on how to terminate the contract. I have recommended that we go ahead and pay the bill so that we are not breaching the contract. But according to the terms on how to get out of the contract, it is hypothetical that they could refund us some of that money. Whether they do or not, I would still recommend not breaching the contract. But if we are in compliance to date, there is at least the possibility that we can receive some of that funding back. Because they are ARPA funds, they will retain their character, go back to ARPA, and need to be designated by the end of the year, December 31st, I think. So I would recommend not breaching. So I've recommend payment, but with the notice of termination, especially only being 6 months into this year, it's hypothetical, we can get some of that money back.
And I would say that even though we were not able to convert, the company TAC, and I think it was Easy Task, I'm not sure, who was the software provider, put in months of counseling and preparation. And it is our email and internet and just the entire county system that we have that does not allow the two to interface. And this was the only county that they had ever come across that had that issue. So the company had a very good track record. It's just with the way our system is set up, they cannot interface at this time because of different confidentiality interface workings that Colin especially knows about. But they certainly did put in a great amount of work and effort to try to get this to work.
Agreed.
Commissioner Cheney,
aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Scottson.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 17.
Move to approve the Aransas County Indigent Healthcare Report for May 2022.
I'll second that.
Our expenditures for the month was $39,729. Year to date in the fiscal year is $348,528. We are in the 9th month, so we're not even hitting 50% of our budgeted amount today.
Yeah, I did a 75% calculation to see against the 4%, and we're significantly, I think, about $130,000 under that, so good work.
Yep.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline, Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutsa.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 18.
I move to approve the distribution of $106,534 of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Refuge Revenue Sharing Account annual payments to local governments for lands under their administration for fiscal year 2023 that were received in 2024.
Second.
So
Get a motion and second.
we receive this money once a year. Basically, it's payment in lieu of taxes type of situation where they give us a proportionate part of the revenues. I don't know what they're selling out there, but 106,000. I don't. Anyway, so we split it on a prorational basis of the assessed value of the properties with the navigation district and with the school district.
And do we notify them ahead of time? Them being the AC&D and the school district, what we anticipate getting or no?
No, because we don't really know. In fact, I didn't know until it hit the bank. Because usually I get a letter about, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the money comes in, but the letter was never reached my desk. But I have never in the past notified them. In fact, I send them a check and they ask no questions.
Just deposit it.
Just deposit it.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutsa.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 19.
Move to approve the May 2024 Auditor's Monthly Report.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
I'll be happy to answer any questions. I did put on your dais up there a larger print of the budget on a page. Commissioner Dupnick had asked me, it was getting so small, it was hard to read. So I am going to put the larger print one in the reports from now on.
Going forward, that'll be very nice. Thanks.
Thank you.
I did have a question.
Sure.
And I'm marked up the small page, so I'll try to read it. Under the special revenue funds,
Yes, ma'am.
the record archive fee fund, I think that's account 350. And some of that might be going towards what the county clerk was talking about. Do we have an expectation on the balance for the end of the year in that account? Because it looks like we're pretty shy of what the estimate was.
You know, I would have to look at that, Commissioner. I'm not sure if we haven't expensed anything out of or not. I will look at the budget numbers that
The
we've been
reason
working
it
on.
is, the reason it is so low is because remember the fees changed
I do,
January 1,
right?
and we are losing monies on every single filing due to those fees changes.
Yeah, because it was originally projected at almost 82,000 and we're not quite halfway through the year and we've only received about 28,000. So
Right.
that is not a good sign.
No, it's not. And that is where the co-file payments is coming from, by
That's
the
what I
way.
thought. Okay, thanks for confirming that.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutsa.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 20.
Move to approve budget line item transfer.
Second.
Motion and second.
We have none at this time.
Perfect.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutsa.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 21.
I move to approve accounts payable and payroll/payroll liabilities.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
The accounts payable and payroll liabilities are normal, I would like to bring to your attention a few things. There's a check for Texas Department of Emergency Management. We receive money from, on the 25% of our grant matches. This Senate Bill 7 is giving us 75% of the grant match. They overpaid us on Little Bay. And so they have requested to the balance be refunded to them, which was $137,138.46. We, instead of just doing a wire transfer back to them, I told them they would receive a check from us because we, just for our records, wanted to keep that clear. We have Mont McDonald for street projects of $56,972.77. Those are on our GLO street projects. LCR is on our Holiday Beach and Southwest street projects. We had 2 invoices that totaled $1,007,740.81. Anderson Columbia is doing Ruby Allen. There was a 3-month invoice from them. We had not received an invoice from them. It was $1,383,625.42.
Who is that, Jackie?
Anderson Columbia. It's our Ruby Allen street project, street and drainage. Now, just so y'all remember, those are at 100%. Those are the GLO projects that are reimbursed at 100%. Grant connection for the TCEQ Bayshore project was $3,720.83. And Orion Construction on the Bayshore was $282,704.69. Under the ARPA, we did pay TAC the $4,200 that we were just discussing in the prior item on the agenda. T. Baker Smith for the detention water tank billed $7,687.50. And we also received the vacuum truck from Doggett Freightliner for $469,127. Teal Construction May invoice was $141,451.55. And in the 500 in the airport, we paid A to Z fencing. You'll see an invoice there. Can't remember. It was like $7,000 or $8,000. That was damage to the fence and cattle guard for a wreck. We are working with the insurance company to get those funds from the driver's insurance. But if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
How
So
close are we to-
we're working with the driver who caused the accident insurance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How close are we to being done on the water tank, the sheriff's water tank?
We
water
still have
tower,
not
whatever it
bid
is.
that out for construction yet. They're getting the final designs done on that.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Casa.
Aye, passes 5-0. All right, at this time, section number 12, reports from commissioners, elected officials, and department heads. No action will be taken. Yes, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you. Wanted to introduce everybody to Joe Geistman. He's our TDM, which is Texas Division of Emergency Management. He's our county liaison representative, replaces Jim Hollister. Joe is a graduate of the TDM Emergency Management Academy. So that's a new thing that TDM has started to employ with respect to emergency management in the state. TDM has taken great steps to increase their presence in smaller counties such as Aransas County and counties that face specific risks, and ours being hurricanes, obviously. But he comes to us from the oil and gas business, so he's got some pipeline experience, petroleum experience, whereas Jim was a HAZ expert. But the good thing about TDM and with the county liaison reps is they tend to put a lot of folks that in one area of the state in other counties, in Sanpac County, in our case, Refugio, all the way down to Kingsville, that have specific skill sets that we can also draw from. So what Jim may be able, or Joe may be able to provide to them. They'll call on him for, he'll be able to call on them as well. So they're putting together a nice little network, a nice team, and it's a force multiplier for us in Aransas County, I'll tell you that. So
I
get to know
spoke
him
to
again.
Jim Hollister last night about Joe, and he had high praise for him. So welcome to the community.
Welcome, Joe. Anybody else?
I have an item I just wish to mention. I heard from several of my constituents and also folks in other precincts about a posting that was on Nextdoor, recognizing that we all have freedom of speech as long as we're not using our county email to put out information. I have just been, I wouldn't say inundated, but I have certainly received calls and text messages about a posting regarding a park in Aransas County. And certainly anyone is free to do whatever they like as long as it's not illegal. But a concern that I had is that the comment was, and this is from Commissioner Cheney, and it's regarding Lewis Park, which we have talked about during the budget process in the past and probably will again. But it was saying petition update. I can't be available today due to another obligation. I've talked to the powers that be. We may get the funding for 4 single swings, 2 double swings, 2 toddler swings as well. I'll know more in a couple of weeks. If it works, great. If not, I'll get back with a door-to-door petition. Thanks for your support. I love this neighborhood and the great neighbors who live here. Check, which is fine, except for the fact that people have been calling me and saying, do the commissioners each have individual funds for projects? And I said, no, we don't. Well, can you make a decision that benefits your precinct without taking it to commissioners court? And I said, no, we can't. We have a lot of responsibility, but honestly, we have very little authority. It has to come to this court and it has to be vetted. We have to discuss it. It has to go forward. So I just want to put it out there that everything will go through the process. That park, any other projects that come in, I welcome folks to contact your own commissioner. Certainly you're welcome to call me or the judge. But we do not have special ways to get projects done without things coming to court. So I just want to set that record straight. Not to be offensive, but I've certainly heard a lot about this over the last week.
Well, that's I appreciate you seeing that. I really do. We got a good response. What I have been working on for at least 12 years is to get something utilization in a small park that we have. I've always brought it up to budget. It's always they mow it and they do everything to it. Haven't asked for anything special. Have had several of my citizens, my constituents, ask if we could get some swings or something in the park. And I've consistently asked for that. And now I've asked one of the county staff to look and see what the feasibility and the insurance liability would be to put some swings in that park. Now, if that's offended anybody, I apologize. But I do appreciate the fact that we can use public to bring forth situations that benefit everybody. And now, I never said that was my park. I never said that I only wanted folks from Peninsula Oaks to deal with it. Never said that. Okay. Now, if they inferred that I said that, then they're simply wrong. It's nothing, it's no offense to me one way or the other. I'm glad it's getting out, and I appreciate Commissioner Russo for bringing it to attention to the public. But that is going to be one of my requests for this year's budget, is to maybe put $3,000 in to help improve that park, where some of the children in the neighborhood don't have to climb the trees to play with the park. They can actually get in the swing. We had a neighbor that put 3 swings in out of his own pocket, and very good swings, very appropriate swings and everything. And they're used quite often, not all the time, but then they don't use it in the rain, but they use it a lot. And it is something that's really good for the neighborhood. It was donated by Mrs. Lewis, who her and her husband had a lot to do with installing Peninsula Oaks, which is a very large subdivision. And she always wanted for public, we can't sell it, we can't give it away. We can't do anything under the contract of her donating it to us. But Renee does a good job in keeping it mowed. We've had some small barbecues over there and a couple of family get-togethers, but it's one of their assets that we're not utilizing. And I'm trying to get it to where it's more attractive to utilize. It is not my park. It just happens to be in my precinct. It happens to be across from my house. But that doesn't, that has nothing to do with it. I have other areas that's the only area I have in my precinct that is family oriented. Everything else is business or homes and stuff. But I think that's very good that I've got people looking at next door and making assumptions that are clearly in error, or not in error, but it opens up the opportunity for them to be able to ask questions and find out. And I appreciate Commissioner Russo bringing it to my attention. Everything she could pick up the phone and call me, but she didn't do that. So anyway, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to section 13, reports about items of community interest. No action will be taken. Community members, nothing. All right. Ms. Adela, do we need to go to closed session? We do? Okay. I entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I move to approve convening into closed session to consult with counsel and receive legal advice about insurance matters related to Aransas County's projects and insurance claims from Hurricane Harvey, including the following pending litigation. 1, Aransas County, Texas versus Endurance American Specialty Insurance Company et al. Aransas County District Court cause number 23-0021. And 2, North Star Recovery Service, Inc. versus Aransas County Independent School District and Aransas County District Court cause number 23-0066, consolidated with North Star Recovery Services, Inc. versus HR&R LLC et al. Aransas County District Court cause number 20-0159. And 3, Western Steel versus T2J Partners LLC, DIE/A, FPS Recovery LLC in Aransas County. Cause number 24-0072 in the 36th District Court of Aransas County, Texas, pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meetings Act, which authorizes closed sessions for a governmental body to consult with its attorney regarding advice on legal matters pertaining to pending or contemplated litigation or a settlement offer, or on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to go to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Got a motion in a second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Guzzo.
Aye. Passes. We'll take a 10-minute recess. In a second.
Commissioner Cheney, Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Hi, we are back in open session and we are not going to take any action on matters discussed in closed session. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn at 11:20.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Hi, thank you very much.